one of the most important concepts of this year is to be understanding the idea of polarity. Polarity is best described when dealing with water. So to know and understand water, we break it down into its elements where we have hydrogen, and to even break that down further, we have to understand that hydrogen has 1 proton, 0 neutrons, and 1 electron. Whereas oxygen, as most typical on the periodic table, is going to have 8 protons, 8 neutrons, and 8 electrons. So these are both nonmetals when they're classified, so therefore they're going to form a covalent bond, where often covalent bond is the idea of sharing electrons. But here in polarity, polarity is a covalent bond, but it's an unequal covalent bond. They don't share the electrons at the same rate. So what will happen when you have an oxygen atom? So if I draw that first, there's the nucleus, and here we have 8 protons, we have 8 neutrons, which won't really do anything for this process. But surrounding the nucleus, we have in our first orbital, we're going to have 2 electrons. Those 2 electrons fill, they aren't going to bond, they're not really going to do anything. It's that second orbital where we'd have a remaining 6. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have these unpaired electron, that's an unpaired electron, so there is going to be a sharing opportunity with this electron and 1 over here as well. So hydrogen will then bring to the table, there's the nucleus, which is going to have 1 proton in it, there'll be no neutrons, and then what will happen, we're going to overlap our first orbital to this. I know it's a little larger, but here I'll mark that with a blue. So that will be the electron from the hydrogen. Same idea. When we have that second hydrogen over here, we'll do 1 proton, we'll have an overlapping first orbital, its electron will transition to a blue. So there we have our water molecule, and the pairs of electrons, there's that first pair which is going to be a sharing. In a typical situation, what we'll do is there should be an even sharing between these. So if this electron right here were to orbit around oxygen, if you can follow the cursor, it will then go right back here in a very simplistic way of thinking that it's even. It's going to go equally around both of these atoms, but that's not how it works in a polar covalent bond. In this polar covalent bond, we have to look at the nucleus. The nucleus of oxygen has 8 protons, so each of those brings to the table a positive charge. So this is 8 positive charges which this electron is attracted to. Since this has the negative charge, negative, and then we have the positive in here, this electron, or this proton within the hydrogen, there is just 1 proton in that nucleus. So the power of this nucleus is not as great as the power of the oxygen. It's a much larger atom, comparatively speaking. So therefore, this negative electron, if it were to go between, which way would it go? If we have the option of being attracted to a nucleus that has 8 protons or 8 positive charges versus a nucleus that only has 1 positive charge, hopefully you get that concept that this electron is actually going to want to stay and be more attracted. So what might happen, this electron is going to travel a few times here, it might go around, but it's not this equal distribution. Even this electron from the hydrogen, even though it's being shared, it as well is going to be more attracted to this oxygen. So more often than not, the electron will be associated with this oxygen atom and not so much with the hydrogen atom. So therefore, there is going to be an imbalance of charges, given the fact that there really isn't going to be an electron often circling or orbiting the nucleus here. You often get this charge, this slight charge that forms. So up here, we will draw the negative. That's a slight negative charge because these 2 electrons, which are not really a part of the 8 and 8, which balance this out to be a neutral atom on its own, but because of this blue electron and this blue electron, which both are also going around, and there's an imbalance now around the oxygen. This oxygen, if we count, would have more than the 8. It has that 10 basically, and if you have 10 electrons with only 8 protons, there is that slight negative charge. Occasionally the electron will go around the oxygen or the hydrogen here, but again, that's going to be not as much because of that difference in size of the nucleus. So therefore, the side that has the 2 hydrogens, since there are not going to be many electrons often going around, you really have just this 1 proton with no electrons around it. So there's an imbalance in the positive charge, and therefore you get this slight opposing poles. We have the negative pole, we have the positive pole, and that's where the polar comes in, because there are 2 charges associated with this molecule. This is the most infamous. There are more molecules that do this, but water you have to understand the most, due to the fact that because this forms, and I'll draw water now in a more simple diagram, often you see it just drawn like this, where we have just the symbols put down. The oxygen, which has that negative charge with its positive charge on the hydrogen side. This has the ability now, if there's an opposing water molecule, which often is going to happen, you're not just going to have one molecule sit by itself. This water molecule will now attract itself, as we have learned for an extended amount of time, that you understand that positive and negative attract one another. There is going to be an attraction between this negative charge and this positive charge. It's not going to be an overlap of electrons. This is just an attraction. This right here, this dotted line, which I draw as an attraction, as opposed to this line, this is a bond line. Because there literally is, as I go back, there is electrons going around, and that is the sharing, so therefore there is that solid line. When you have this dotted line, it just says they're attracted to one another. It's a much weaker attraction than this. But because there is a positive charge, it does look for a negative charge. This is what's known as a hydrogen bond. Because the hydrogen of one molecule, which is already covalently bonded, still is looking, because it's somewhat being bullied. This hydrogen is not receiving equal treatment from its atom that it's being charged or being paired with. So think of it like, yeah, it does want to go out and find something else because of the fact that it's not being treated fairly. So this opposite charged attraction is what refers to as hydrogen bond, and this property is what gives water all of its unique characteristics. If water itself was not a polar molecule, if it was just a typical covalently bonded molecule, you wouldn't have these charges, and there'd be a lot of consequences that we can talk about in class, but that is a huge part of this unit, is understanding what a polar bond is. So hopefully that does explain it, and you can kind of ask questions if you have anything further you need to understand.